Hey everybody, welcome back. We are watching 13 Reasons Why. We're going to start with season 4. I've already seen seasons 1 through 3. Feeling like I'm talking too loud into the mic. We've already seen seasons 1 through 3. I think the first season was the hardest for me to watch. And the reason why is because when I was 16, I had been raped. I had been drinking. So I went through similar kind of stuff that she was feeling. It wasn't the exact same kind of thing. I'm not going to get into all of it, but at any rate, it was hard to watch. I was still able to watch it. I'm able to detach somewhat from things and still be able to watch them for what they're worth. I know there's a lot of debates about, especially season 1 of 13 Reasons Why, and does it glorify, does it help, does it hurt, all that sort of stuff. But I thought we would go ahead and react to season 4. It's been a while since I've seen all the others, so I'm going to watch the recap to help catch me up on everything and kind of go from there. I think that's it I will do for now, and we'll go from there. I don't know if I'll be reacting to a lot of the show or if I'll be reacting to more of memories or thoughts that are triggered in me. We'll see how it goes.
Pulled my pants down and...
Jesus, Tyler.
I forgot about that. That was actually very hard to watch also. So here we go. Episode 1 of season 4. Their disclaimer. It is a tough show to watch. I'll put a disclaimer out there. I actually work for a hotline type of thing, so I hear a lot of this stuff in real life, which is why it's hard to watch it as a entertainment show. Because there are people out there who struggle.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, fine.
I can't tell my friends anything about what I'm going through because they count on me to be solid.
Car coming. Justin's here.
That's a common theme, is not wanting to feel like a burden to other people because everybody relies on them to be strong, and then they go into crisis when they do need help and support because they feel like they don't have anybody they can go to. And a lot of times they don't go to anybody until they're in the depths of what's going on. And sometimes that can be intervened and sometimes it can't. But the sooner folks realize that they can get help from different sources at any time, and that the people around us should be, and I'm going to say adult enough, even though these guys are seniors, they're still young adults. They're getting ready to be on their own before too long. They need to be adult enough to say whether or not they can deal with this or deal with that. They need to be able to say no if it's too much for them, but still be there for that person in other ways. It might not be the main way, but be there for them in other ways. But the best way we can help each other is to be straight with each other about, yes, I can be there, or no, I can't be there, and this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, and all that kind of stuff. But when you hold it all in because you don't want to put it on somebody else's shoulders, you end up doing more harm.
This, us, it's not good for me.
I'm not good for you.
No, this isn't about you. It's about me.
It kind of always is, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Merry Christmas.
So a common recommendation when folks are in early recovery is to not get into a relationship, not do any kind of big stuff. Relationships, new job, new house, don't be moving, don't do any big stuff. In a relationship, as good as it feels in the beginning, and with the makeup parts, relationships are complicated and messy, and when you're trying to work on yourself and figure yourself out, you don't need to also be trying to figure out what yourself and someone else is. Work on yourself first, and then you can start adding in the big stuff a little bit at a time. But that's a common recommendation. Now, it's not always what happens, what works out, because sometimes they have to get a job because they lost their other job and they need to be able to live. So they've got to get a job. So that's one big change right there. It'd be great if for a year they didn't have to deal with any of the big stuff and they dealt with all their firsts. And the first sports game without any substances, the first birthday, the first anniversary, the first death, the first, get all those firsts out of the way. Because all of those are going to be triggers, not to mention all of the triggers of any traumas of the past. So work on yourself first, and then once you've worked on yourself, then you can work on yourself and someone else.
I'll be fine going to Liberty.
I don't
As
remember
public
this
schools
guy.
go, it's not the best.
I know a few people there. It'll be nice to get closer to them.
I remember Monty was in a relationship with another guy, but I don't remember him.
The truth is, this kind of thing has been happening for a while. It started after Hannah died, off and on. But then, in the van on the way to county jail, it was like this weight crushing me.
Keeps hallucinating. And actually, that's more delusion.
It's like I can't breathe. Like my heart's gonna beat out of my chest. Like I'm gonna die.
Sorry about all that noise. Sounds like he's describing panic attacks.
We'll see. Step aside for a pat down.
I sure as shit hope you have a female officer to do it, because you and your boys aren't putting that anywhere near my body.
Young lady, step aside now.
Whatever.
Hey, get back here.
I think it's a coincidence the school installed metal detectors less than 2 weeks after the cops talked to Tylee.
Bureaucracies don't move that fast, like, ever.
They know. They have to know.
Yeah, or the school's just covering its ass after being ground zero for a high-profile murder investigation. Just take your own advice. Stay calm.
I'm not gonna apologize. If you're gonna turn Liberty into a full-on police state, then at least show your female students.
State's a strong word.
Then at least show your female students some respect by hiring actual female officers to do the so-called screenings.
You're absolutely right, Miss Davis, absolutely. You have my sincere apology.
I do?
And moving forward, I'd love to get your input as we implement these new measures.
You're trying to keep me quiet.
Oh, when have I ever been able to keep you quiet? Look, we want the same thing. To make kids feel safe.
So I was paying attention. It was a little hard. When I worked at the prison, they had to have a female officer up front to pat down the women who would come through to go through the perimeter. And I always thought it was weird. I mean, I was glad it was I was glad it was a female officer patting me down, but at the same time, it brings up the old, I was going to say the old double standard, but it's not quite that I'm getting at either. I always wondered, why is it that women have to have a female officer, but men don't have to have a male officer pat them down? And if you've ever been to a prison, they pat you down pretty thoroughly because they kind of make sure you're not sneaking anything in. So even though women have 2 areas of genitals and men only have 1 area of genitals, it's one of those things where I imagine it's uncomfortable for men being pat down by women just as much as it is for women to be pat down by men. Now, that being said, I also think that we lose sight of, people think of male-female relationships, and so are they getting too feely because, stop it, they're attracted to the person that they're patting down or something like that. But everybody always thinks in a male-female relationship type of thing. And it's like, well, what if it's a male officer who is gay patting down a male? Wouldn't that be the same kind of worry, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it? And the same thing for a female. A female officer may be lesbian, but patting down a female. I've never quite understood. I understand just because my own personal preference and reaction, but when I start thinking about it, I don't understand it. So I've always wondered about that. But more and more schools are having metal detectors, which I think is sad, but it's also become a necessity. Our small town, the courthouse, has a metal detector, and they were doing it only on court days, but that was 10 years ago. I think they're now doing it anytime anybody comes into the courthouse, just because of everything that goes on in the news nowadays. It's just a sad, sad thing that schools are having to do metal detectors.
The Future Fair. They changed it from college fair because there's this new thing that not all kids should go to college, and they threw in like clubs and firemen just so no one felt left out. Look, it's all a fucking joke. This planet has no future.
So,
He brings up an interesting point, though. Everybody is all about college, 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 and you've got trade school, you've got business school, you've got jobs where they don't necessarily need to do some type of secondary education, although I think secondary education is considered high school, or post-high school education. Although there's some things that would help them out. Like if you talk about the farmer who, is 5th generation farmer in the family, do they need to have more than a high school education? Well, they need to have business. They may want technology so that they understand some of the stuff that's coming out up there. There's a YouTuber called Cole the Corn Star, and some of the stuff, the technology that they talk about for doing their farms is just kind of fascinating. So it's one of those things where you don't think about a farmer going to business school or trade school or getting an associate's or anything like that. But some of this stuff would be really handy to have. Do they have to have it? No. But is it good to have it? Yeah. Welding. Do they have to go to a trade school to get it? No, they could study under, I don't know what they call them in the welding world, but like the master electrician, the master welder. I don't know what levels they have, but they could learn under that person and get their certification and everything. So, yes, we've got to get out of the mindset of college, but we also don't want folks to become too complacent because we don't want them to be taken advantage of, such as accountants who take advantage of folks who don't understand the books. You know, it's good to have a basic idea so you know whether you're getting played or not. You know, that kind of stuff. So,
You can't save everyone.
You can try.
You have to put your own mask on first.
so he has to save himself before he can save others. And I've said that a lot to folks. You've got to take care of yourself first before you can be there for anybody else. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to be there for those other folks that you're wanting to be there for.
But I guess I didn't have dreams about anything that mattered.
What do you mean mattered?
Like, related to...
Love Gary Sinise. One of my favorite actors. He's in everything, but he's not no, that Hollywood doesn't put him at the level of Tom Cruise, but he's been in everything and he's been in good stuff.
Why don't you know who you can trust?
You know, I mean, because it's high school.
It's a very non-specific answer from a very specific young man. Clay, we talked about this when you were in middle school. The body's incredibly intuitive. It will create all kinds of physical stimuli to force you to address a psychological problem. These things you're feeling, they're your mind telling you to pay attention. Are you ready to pay attention?
Yes.
So the question is, was the tape really there and really playing? And if so, then that means duplicates of the tape that Bryce gave to Jessica. There's other copies, so she didn't destroy the only copy. The officers seem to feel that the case is not solved because they're still looking into it. We don't know what the conversation is with Tyler, and I have a feeling it's going to be one of the episodes towards the end when we figure out what they said to him. What are you doing? She's right on the edge of my arm. Yes, you are. Silly girl. The music was still playing in my ears, sorry. So, they're setting up a bunch of stuff. We'll see where things go. Life decisions to be made. You're such a klutz. You're such a klutz. You gonna come here? Oh. So, thank you for joining me on the first episode of season 4. And I hope we'll see you guys for the rest of the episodes. Bye.